So welcome to Sorare Wakey Academy, and today we're scouting the under-23s in Italy. That includes Serie A and Serie B. Now I've tried to keep prices down, but if a player really is expensive, we've added him because either he's elite and you should be getting him, or there's no one else that's worth having in that position. Now I've already scouted these players and I've added them to a watch list on soraredata, and I'll put a link in below. It'll be called Italy Under-23s Wakey Academy, so I'll show you now. So there we go, Italy Under-23s Wakey Academy. So at the end of the video, if you want to go back, you can either go into soraredata and look at it, or you can rewind the video, whatever you want to do. Go back into the video and check out the players that we've picked. But it's on soraredata, it's now open to the public, so anyone can see it and look at them players again and do your own scouting from there as well. Now what I've decided to do is go back to an SO11 form of team, where I'll pick a position in like a 4-3-3 or a 4-4-2 or 4-5-1, and I'll pick the players that go into them positions, and I'll show you the team at the end as well in them positions. I just think it's something I've done before in my earlier videos, and some people liked it, so we'll see how we get on with that. Rather than just picking 11 players and saying there you go, blur, we'll do it into a pitch sort of formation thing and see how that gets on. So obviously, as you can see, the first player we're going to be scouting is a goalkeeper, and it's Luis Maximiano. Now he's 23, so he's quite old. He won't be an under-23 for long. He's only got until July, but I think he's worth maybe having a look at, and then sell him afterwards, or keep him as he gets older. He might be good enough to move on into your other teams after he's over 23. So at the moment he's at Lazio, and he's not having a great time at Lazio. He's hardly playing at all. As you see, they're DNPs all the time. But what I wanted to show you here is when we look at all his SO5 squad, we can see he had a really good time here. I think it was at Granada, was it? Grenada, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, at Grenada. He was getting game time, playing all the time. As you can see there, all the 90 minutes that he's been playing here. And he did really well for Grenada. He's gone to Lazio, it's a bigger club, and he's not really getting a game. But there's some interesting news on him. Let's just have a look at his price for a second, because he's currently on about £60. You can see his price graph here. Yeah, his last one went £54, so you might be getting them for like 55, 60 quid. I think he could be worth like 100 and odd quid when he's done what he's going to do, as far as I'm aware. Now what I do when I do a full scout as well is, I don't show you all in the video because it would take forever, but I do go and type his name into Google here, and I put the latest news on, and you can see here there's a headline straight away a week ago that Football España, it's saying about Bono moving from Sevilla, and that Sevilla are also now looking at Luis Maximiano to take his place. Now that would be a really good buy, I think. Maximiano going to Sevilla again, where he's in Spain, he's used to the leagues down there. And I just want to also show you his season when he was in Spain, where he played, when he comes out quite a bit, he does sweep a little bit there. He played 35 games, started all 35. I mean, he was decent when he was playing over in Spain. So if you can get into the team, we could have a really good goalkeeper on our hands here. He's still young for at least another 6 months or so, so you've only got him until the end of the season as an under-23, but you can keep him and put him into the other sides. Now on the watch list, you'll see down here that we have got another goalkeeper. We've got Serie, who I'm sure you can go and have a scout of yourself, have a look at him. But he's the other name that I've mentioned. Again, he's now, he's got a year and a half left to Serie at under-23 level. Only reserve, but go down and have a look at him as well. So we move on to the next one, our first defender, and I'm looking at Pierre Kalulu, who's at Milan, probably well known to most of you now. He's still only 22, so he's got utility of under-23 until July the 1st, 2024. So you've got a year and a half after this guy. He's down at £43, which I think is immense. I mean, I paid like £100 and odd for him when he was, a few months back. And he's still a great player, I think. Can play at centre-back, can play at right-back, and that's mainly where I see him. I see him as a right-back because he flies up and down that wing. He's done really well at centre-back when he's come in. Looking at his prices, and you can see he's around the 43 mark, say £45, you're going to get him for that price. If we look at his scores then, and we'll have a look at his 1 year scores, lots of greens here as you'll see. He's had a couple down here that are yellows, but playing most games then. He's out a couple of times there, but he's playing in most games, doing alright. And for his age now, I think he's going to be an absolute superstar this one. With him and Tonali in midfield, sort of working together, they do really well together. I mean, you can see his performances. He's got 100 in him there. He's had a 96, 85s. I think he's going to be a really, really good player for Milan for the future. So let's have a quick look at what we know on this guy. Pierre Kalulu, plays for France, 22 years old. He's 183 centimetres, what's that, 6 foot something. Right-footed, really decent player. You can see on the heat map, this is why I think he's more of a right back. I mean, he plays right centre-back as well, but he gets up and down this pitch non-stop, doesn't he? Lots of crossing as well. Real good player, one for the future, Pierre Kalulu. We'll have a quick look at any news on Kalulu. You see here that Tottenham have now joined the hunt for him. This was 2 weeks ago, so will he go to Tottenham? There's also Newcastle from 2 weeks ago that are after him. He's going to attract a lot of big clubs, and don't be surprised to see him move, because Milan have already got a lot of players that can play in these positions. So that's our first defender. It's Pierre Kalulu. Pretty expensive at £43, but I see him as an elite player in the future. So that's our first defender. Let's move to the next one. Now this guy's pretty well unknown, I would have thought. It's Davide Battella. Now he's playing at Palermo in Serie B. You can see from his last 5 scores of 68. Played in all the games there. But before that he wasn't really playing. He's just sort of on his sub, maybe getting involved in a couple of the games. But now he's started to really establish himself. Like I say, he's at Palermo. He's £28. You might get him for like 25 if you go looking. But you can see before, when he was not really in the team, he was just playing around. He was getting for like £8, and that's something like in December. Now he's in the team. He's playing really well. He's up to like £29. I think he's going to go even higher than this. I think this could be a really good player for us. We're having a look at his SO5 scores, and you can see when he was getting a substitute, he wasn't scoring that highly. Now he's sort of establishing himself. He's played a few times before where he got good scores, but now establishing himself and he's getting 79, 84, 76. He's doing okay. Playing at centre back, but we'll see from his heat map in a minute when we have a look. So let's go there now. So we're on SofaScore. You see from his heat map, he's supposed to be like a right centre back, but it looks like he's been playing at the left, or he's been going across to the left. He has only started 7 out of 12, but he's done the last 5 games he's played in, so I think he's sort of establishing that position now. Decent player, just not a great team that he's with at the moment. Now I've already looked at the Google News and there's nothing really on this guy, so he should be here to stay. He's under 23 for another 18 months or so. Good player to have in that middle there, and banging the scores at the moment. So next defender we're going to look at, and probably one of the best that I've spotted so far, is Fabiano Parisi. Now he plays as a left back, as far as I can tell. Now again, he's a little bit expensive. He's under £40, but £39.56. This guy I think is about to get a big move. Not 100% sure where to yet, but looking at the news and that, he's saying that his idols were the likes of Roberto Carlos and Teo Hernandez even at the moment, and Alba also. So all left backs flying up the wings. This is exactly how he plays. I want to have a look at his price for a second, because he was at like £35. He was down at 30, but he's now starting to make a little bit of a name for himself, unknown to a lot of people. But let's have a look at his SO5 scores. Now I know these prices are slightly high, but these are players that are going to be decent. You can see here then over the last year what his scores were. He's hitting 70s, 60s, 70s, 87. Now imagine this guy in a good team. He's currently with Empoli, and he's getting a lot of time in that left back position, playing nearly every single game. You can see he's got a few clearance off lines, a few goals here and there, just spattered about and that. Really good player. Let's have a look at SofaScore then, because looking at his season so far, I mean, just his heat map alone, you can see he's flying up these wings all the time, almost like a left midfielder, a bit like Andrew Robertson, maybe Trent, maybe getting up them wings. But played 14 games, started all 14, 87 minutes a game, and he has hit 2 goals as well. Really good player, one for the future. As I say, there's no news on him at the moment apart from big clubs are after him, but that's it. That's all I know about him. So that's my next defender, Fabiano Parisi. Go and have a look at him and do your own research as well, into whether he's got injuries or anything like that. At the moment, he's not injured according to Sorare data. Now, my last defender that I'm going to come up with is Destiny Udolgi. I think that's how we say it. He's slightly injured at the moment. It's just a little knock, I think, muscle injury, it says. Now, again, another £43, but this guy is attracting everybody at the moment. He plays on there as a left wing back, sort of. He's a left back officially, but he plays as a sort of left wing back midfield type. Looking at his prices, as you've seen just a minute ago, he's gone down slightly there, £37. Let's look at his 3 months prices, because he's on the fall slightly. I think he got a bit of an injury or something, and the teams that were after him didn't go for him in the end. But we'll have a look at his scores. This is how good he is then. see here, he's hit 100 up there, he's hit 96, 97. Nice averaging scores there. A decent all-around score on most of his games, and 9s, 10s, a 36 there when he scored a goal. So he's involved in a few goals as well. And when he's up and down that wing so many times, look at the assists he's getting here. He's always involved in the game. He's got a massive engine on him, always running up and down the wings. Looking at SofaScore then, and his season so far, again, you'll see here, quite a bit like the other guy that we mentioned earlier, he's up and down that wing non-stop. Played 11, started 11, 88 minutes per game, 2 goals already. A diamond here, and they've got him down as a midfielder on the left, so he's down as a defender on the on Sorare, so decent guy to have. And when we stick his name into Google and we look at the news and the latest news, you see from 1 day ago, amazing Tottenham defender Adosia, the most prolific under-20 player in Italy at the moment. He hopes to become the next Theo Hernandez, Alphonso Davies for Tottenham. And I just did a little research, and then he is actually at Tottenham, and he's on loan at the moment for Udinese, and he's doing really well there. So, great player. So that concludes my defenders that I've been scouting, and you'll see here there's about 7 of them, but I picked them 4 because I'm going to put them into a formation. You can see the others there, you can have a look down them yourself by looking at my list, or just putting the names into Sorare and having a look. But they're the ones, that's my defenders then, and my goalkeepers done. So moving on to midfielders, we start with a bit of a cheaper player here. Then we've got Lewis Ferguson. A few of you could know him as well. He was playing in the Scottish League, wasn't he? He's gone to Bologna at Serie, and he plays sort of an attacking midfielder, come central midfielder role. 17 quid roughly. Let's look at his actual prices here. We'll see it. Yeah, £17. He's sort of kept at that price all the time. But he is 23. We've got a year and a half with him still at under 23s. So I think that's well worth it. 17 quid investment for him. So as we said, he was formerly playing in Scotland then with Aberdeen. Looking at some of these scores here, you'll see in the past these were scores when he was playing in Aberdeen. And he was getting really good scores. He was being noticed massively. He didn't play when he came to this new club. And a few of these DNPs are also for Scotland games that he didn't play in. He has made his debut for Scotland. But you see him there as subs in a few of them games. But he's now starting to find his feet again at this club. He's now got the 3 goals up there in the last 5 games. So really starting to find his feet, and I think he's definitely one to be watching again. If we look here now then, we can look on SofaScore, and they've got him down as sort of like defensive and attacking and midfield. I mean, I always saw him as a defensive midfielder, but it looks like he's sort of more attacking now for Bologna. But down here you can see him sort of playing on the right more than anything, so probably right central of midfield. Gets all over the pitch, does a hell of a lot, big engine on him again. And we'll see here, if we stick him in and have a look at the news on him, a bit of Juventus rumours coming in here because he's now starting, like I say, to look good again. But I don't know what we can make of that. At the moment he's doing really well, starting to make a name for himself. We'll see if he moves on. And we move to our next midfielder then, Morten Frendrup, who plays for Genoa in Serie B. Again, his last 5 games, you see 62, so really starting to hit form here then. And he's got a last 40 of 53 as well. He's down as a central right midfielder, but can play left and right back as well. Good in a lot of positions at the moment then. You can see his price down here, although his floor price is quite high at around the 65 mark. You can actually get him for around the 44, 45 mark. This is one that I've earmarked as a decent player. He's only 21 at the moment. Under 23 until 2025, so lots of time with this one. Looking at his SO5 scores there, 90 just recently, but really good averages in here. You can see he's playing in most games central defence, but he's also played at left back there, central midfield, so he does get around and play in different positions, but good scores from him all around basically. When we look at SofaScore, we'll see him here, 21 years old, from Denmark. He gets all over the pitch and playing loads of positions here. Played 19, started all 19, 87 minutes in total. Only scored 1 goal, was more of a defensive sort of player, although he's getting into a lot of attacking areas here. And when we look at any news on him on Google, you'll see here that he's likened to Kante, can also play left back, right back, and Tottenham are also interested in him. Not a bad player. So that's our next midfielder, Morten Frendrup. I doubt a lot of players have heard of him. So the next midfielder we're going to look at is Morten Hjulmand, who plays for Lecce in Serie. You see his last 5, he's only played 40% of the games, but he's hit an 83 for his last 5, and then 54 and 57. Now, 85% of the games he's played in his last 40, so he does play a lot. Let's have a look at his scores then. And you'll see he's hit 100 recently as well. Big scores, a lot of greens here. Let's have a look at his all-time, see who's been getting all-time. And again, yeah, so he's got better than this half of the season here. But let's have a look at where he's played. He's centre midfielder, also plays at central defensive midfield. Has had a red card there and it's a poor score. But other than that, he's played nearly every game, isn't he? So again, it's not in a great side than playing for Lecce, but he's he's got 7 assists whilst playing here. Plays as sort of like a central midfielder, attacking midfielder. And I reckon you can get this guy for about £30 or so. Have a look at his price graph actually. Oh, it's gone low. £23, £24. So, £25 all, then you'd probably get this guy. So again, we'll have a look here down at Sofa Score, and he's a Danish international, 23 years old, about 6 foot. He's over 6 foot. On the heat map, you'll see he plays sort of everywhere in that midfield. Doesn't really get forward too much, but he's played 14 games, 14 starts this season. No goals though, but a real good prospect for the future. We stick his name to Google to see what the news is, and 2 weeks ago he's been looked at by Roma, so Roma were tracking this guy. So a few clubs sort of looking at him. 1 day ago, Brentford there. Brentford might be having a look at him as well. And that is our next midfielder, Morten Hjulmand. He's only 23, got utility until July, so you've got to get rid of him basically if you want your 23 players, or put him into your other teams like your Challenger. Or Champion playing. So next player we're looking at Nicola Ravella, who's a sort of attacking midfielder. I've seen him sort of play up front as well a few times. He's £30 at the moment, so again sort of mid-range player. 51 for his last 5, and he's only played 80% of them games. But this lad was a big name at some point. He was going to be like a wonder kid again. We'll just look at his price fall recently. Let's have a look. You see here around the 29 mark. But he was up here at like 40, 50, was it? £69 even up there at one time. But he was supposed to be like a wonder kid, and everyone was scouting him and saying he's going to be great, and that hasn't really worked out before, because he was down at, where was he, Genoa. He was playing at Genoa. Didn't really get any game time, so he moved on. He's coming to Monza now, and recently started playing a few games now. You can see here all the Blues here, 90 minutes, 58, 90. No real goals. I mean, I saw him as a bit of a goal scorer, but he's not been doing that. But when you can hit like 44 and 48 and a 32 as your all-round score, imagine he hits a goal with that, he's banging 100 points, isn't he? So this lad dropped down a level to Monza, starting to look good again now. And at 30 quid, I think that's worth it. You can see here, he's 21-year-old, sort of plays midfield again, can play as a defensive midfielder, but doesn't get forward that much anymore. And he's played 13 games, but only started 9 of them, so bear that in mind, and only 65 minutes as well. But playing a bit more now, he's got so much potential. I can't see him being on this on the bench for long, please. I think he will make that position his own. And what I should have said about this lad is, when he was this wonder kid at Genoa, he did move on to Juventus. Didn't really work out for them. They sent him straight on loan, and that's when he's come to Monza and now starting to play well. When we look at his news recently, you'll see here, Man City, 3 weeks ago, Man City made a bid for him. He's still a Juventus player, but he's a big player, and he's just not scoring the goals that I thought he would. But it's still worth having around, and he might just turn again. So this is my next player, Nicola Ravella. Well worth having. So that is my midfielder scouted there. Scouted 5. There was also Eljif Elmash, who you've seen in my gallery recently. Really good player. Go and scout him out yourselves. Have a look at him. Well worth having as well. He's around the £18 mark at the moment. So we get to our under 23 forwards, and that first one is Giacomo Raspadori. Now, again, you'll see his price at about £60. Expensive, but he is a striker. He's an under 23 striker. He's an Italian international, playing at Napoli at the moment. And he's got 18 months left at under 23 level. Sort of plays, I see him as a striker, but he has played as an attacking midfielder, and he's sort of going into that role a bit more now. Not playing too well his last 5 games, but looking at his price, he's come right down. Look, we're down at like 50 to 60 quid. It used to be up here at like 240. It's gone down obviously as Ethereum went down, the prices crashed a little bit, but it's such a good price for this player. You'll see his scores were not fantastic here in the sort of mid-range table bit, but then he started to play really well and was hitting form, 93 there, 78. But as we look down here, I mean, he's sort of in and out the team at the moment. on the bench and then starts again. Only got 64 minutes in that game, look. But his score's not brilliant here. But this is why you're getting him so cheap, I think. I think he's worth a lot more than this. In the hundreds, I think. Look at this one, the Ajax game, when Napoli beat Ajax 6-1, 2 goals and an assist, 93, so big scores. Playing for Italy against England there, did score a goal as well, hit 69. Really decent play, this one for the future, definitely. And I can see here then, he's not that tall, 172, what's that, about 5'8"-ish, 5'9". Played 11 games, started only 7 of them, and only scored 1 goal, because he's playing that deeper role at the moment. And you see, even here, strengths as anchor play. So, not playing where he would normally play, as far as I'm concerned. He's played up front for Italy before. And you'll also see here then in his news that he's got a 30 million price tag, and it's not frightening him at all. I think they do alright, and with Osimhen up front as well for Napoli, they look pretty decent together. So that's my first forward player to go and have a look at, and Giacomo Raspadori from Napoli. And my second striker I'm going to have a look at is Lorenzo Colombo. Now, not Colombo, but Colombo. Now, he's on loan from AC Milan. But he's been on loan at like 3 different clubs now. And he's now starting to really push for a position. And Milan are maybe looking at getting him back. You see his last 5 there at 49, played 100% of the games. He is his main striker. Looks pretty decent. He's only £25, and this is for a possible Milan player at the moment, so £25. And you'll see here from his scores, I want to put them all on actually. You see from his scores, not fantastic, and a lot of substitution positions. Just recently, 60, 60, 70 in the team. Look, we've had 2 assists, 2 goals in his last 3 games. But most have been subs, so he's one of these that you've just got to watch. I think he might stay here a little bit longer. You see down here, he's been playing at Spal. And then moved on eventually too, where he's now at Lecce. Not been a great player, but I think he's just starting to really spark at the moment. And looking at his price graph, I don't think he's ever been a high player, has he? Looking at the price, yeah, he's not been that high in price-wise. But I think for this price of £24, he's worth having. I think he could really take off soon. You'll see here, he's only 20 years old, so he's still got time on his side. He's sort of playing like an attacking midfield role here, not getting forward that much. He's only played 13, but only started 5 of them 13 and getting a total of 36 minutes. But I think one for the future, definitely, that you could keep an eye on. When we look at his news here, you'll see he's rated quite highly from some players. We're looking here, Ibrahimovic used to call him the Hulk. AC Milan look at him as currently being one of them players that they want to bring in for the growth of the club soon. So, a great player, I think. So that was my second forward, Lorenzo Colombo, who's currently at Lecce on loan from AC Milan. So in total, if you go to my watch list, you'll see 4 strikers down there, a few that are cheaper. Kelvin Yeboah, real upcoming guy who's playing in Austria, was doing really well there. He's moved here, it's not really worked out for him, but I think he could hit form again at any time. And Daniel Maldini, Paolo Maldini's son, he's at Milan, he's still on loan here at the moment where he is. He's not done great, but I think again he could spark at any time, and a decent price of just £9.87 for him. So in total, you can go to my Sorare data page and my watch list. It's Italy Under-23's Wakey Academy. You get all the players that I've labelled there down the page, and you can of course move them into different positions. You can look at defenders only, have a look at them. You can put the floor prices up and down, to the cheapest to the highest, and vice versa. You can even look at the prices on the rares and their super rares. So that's my watch list. Go and have a look at it. The link's down below as well. So I said I was going to do an SO11 with this team, so I have put them into some sort of formation, which you can see here. I'll zoom in a little bit. Move this up and down. And you'll see here I've got at left back I've put Udogie, and Kalulu and Batella in the middle. With Parisi at right back, although he's actually a left back. I've got Lewis Ferguson holding, with Frendrup and Hulmand playing in centre midfield. Ravella just in behind the front 2 of Colombo and Raspadori. So that is my team. I don't know what you think of that. Tell me as we go along. And I've got that little site putting that team together from this site here, which is called buildlineup.com. You can put your players and you can move them around, you can spin them anywhere they want to. decent, and I'll do this for the next teams that I go through when I like scout Spain and other countries, England, even Scotland. I'll do the same type of thing. So also remember, if you've got anybody that's looking to sign up, give them my link, which will be on the video underneath here. People can subscribe, like the video as well. That really helps to push the video forward. So like and subscribe. Comment underneath if you want to tell me about any of these players that you've had experience with, or if you've heard any news. I've also just heard Luis Maximiano. There's a bit of transfer news on him as well at the moment. I need to go and look at that straight after this video. But make sure you comment, get anyone to join. If they do sign up and start on Sorare with my link, then I'll put them into my WhatsApp group, and I may also put anyone that you put forward to me, and they join through you telling them to join, then I might look at giving you both a card or something to sort of say thank you. But that's the video for Italy. That's my scouting done. I know there are better players than this, but I was trying to sort of get a good price for them all as well, and up and coming players. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and we will see you on the next video. I'm not sure which country it's going to be yet, but I'll decide as I go along. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.